where the directing duo Alex and Steffen, and you are watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Because of the color green, not a lot of people choose it. I don't know why.
Hi, I'm Jackson, and this is...
I'm Jake Shimobukuro.
Anytime I'm doing anything, he wants to be involved. This is Midnight.
Be optimistic, and it's a beautiful mural out there.
If I can walk out of the ring the way I walked into it, I'm happy.
And that, and I'm like, I made it, I did it, and then I turned the wrong way, you know?
Life's not fair, is it?
I'm just going out meeting everyone dripping with sweat. Hey, who wants a hug?
And you are watching Eclectic Arts Media.
You know, even with editing, I get irritated. I'm like, but I get quite stubborn, you know?
And he's sitting, okay, I believe you. So
I think I forgot your question, but I went on a different path, but it felt great.
And I need to keep as much hair as possible because particularly in Hindley Street, no one's got hair. You'd fit right in, Mark. So
I can't believe it's been that long since we talked. Time flies.
I got all these fake piercings. I shifted a lot of my wardrobe to be more punk, like for that entire rehearsal process.
I love your bully parts.
Right. They may be super confused. Like, what is this woman talking about?
All right, look here. Hey, this is Alex Story from Cancer Slug. This is Cancer Slug. And you're watching Eclectic Arts Media. See, I said it right.
Loving you is more than just a dream come true, and everything that I do is out of loving you. La 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 didn't do. Someday he'll come along, the man I love, and he'll be big and strong, the man I love. If life is a movie, then you're the best part. It's the sunrise and those brown eyes, yeah. You're the one my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts Media, based here in Seattle, Washington, in the US of A. And thank you so much for joining me on this Wednesday, the 18th of February, 2026 over here. And I'd like to thank Ashley Blasky for joining me on Monday evening. It was great getting a chance to know more about Ashley and her work, and what a great transparent guest. And she had some really interesting stories, and some of them are pretty heartbreaking at times, but she's been very, very resilient and is back, doing what she does with her love of the arts. So it was really great talking with her. And And speaking of which, coming up, the next live stream that I have scheduled just got confirmed today, and that is on Monday, the 23rd of February at 6 p.m. Pacific. Jillian Falk is scheduled to join me, and I've seen Jillian at least twice in a couple productions here at the Second Story Repertory Theater. So I'm looking forward to talking to her. I made it a charge back in late December of last year that I wanted to kind of reach out to some of the local talent here, not just theater actors, but musicians and painters and all sorts of creatives, and kind of shine a spotlight on them, because I've been seeing so many of these people on stage and like, God, they're so great, but I don't really know anything about them. So I'm like, it's been really fun getting a chance to talk to folks. So that, again, that'll be this coming Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific. And if you'd like to know more about what I have coming up, everything that I do, I can't even speak today. The first place that I put the information is on my Instagram account. That's Eclectic Arts Media, one word. And then some of that information migrates over to other social media platforms. So that's where all the confirmation things happen. And just shameless local plug that I will be at the Young Dragon, a Bruce Lee story preview tomorrow. I get a chance to do an on-site interview, and then I'll be watching the show. And then it officially opens to the public on Friday tomorrow, not tomorrow, but 2 days from now. And it's already selling out quite a few shows, so I'm looking forward to that. And then on Saturday at the Seattle Opera, the show Fellow Travelers opens. This is the very, very first story they've ever had that's LGBTQ based on their stage. And that's been since, the 60s since they opened. So I will be there covering that show. And then, as I mentioned, I have my live stream on Monday. I will be at Jazz Alley on Tuesday. I will be at Benaroya Hall on Friday. I will be at the Village Theater on Saturday, the 28th, to wrap up my February, in addition to all of these other things. So I'm very, very grateful for all of the opportunities and for people joining me. And if this is your first time on my YouTube channel, if you could do me a huge favor, please hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And if you're over on the Twitch side of things, if you could follow me over there. If you would like to ask my guest today a question, all you have to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel or follow me on Twitch. And then you should see the live chat box come up, and you can put a question in, and I will fold that into the conversation as we go along. Yeah, also, if you would like to support what I do on a different level, there's a PayPal, me, and a Venmo link in every live stream interview that I do. So only if you're in a position to do so, but I did get a donation recently. It was really, really appreciated at this time. This streaming service costs me money every month to do, let alone all these other things that I have going on. So everything just goes right back into Eclectic Arts Media. All right, actually, let me see here. Something's already up here. Oh, okay. Hey, nice to see you. I can't remember if it's Purple Milk, but I know who you are because we used to work together. Nice to see you. But my guest today is a talented vocalist, vocal coach, and performer. She has come to the attention of many international fans due to her work with the Hindley Street Country Club. Please welcome to the Eclectic Arts Media virtual studio, Miss TANIA SAVELLI.
Hello. Hi, Mark.
Hi, TANIA. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks so much for having me on today.
Thank you for taking the time. I'm so looking forward to talking with you and talking about everything that you have going on. I have such a random mind sometimes when it comes to my interviews. People kind of learn that, and you'll probably learn that the longer we go during this interview. But what kind of flashed back to me as I was watching the montage and stuff is that two of the guests that I've had from Hindley Street that I've done work with them, there's one of the clips I pulled was like just awful to them. I mean, like they just did not like that. They remembered like how they did it at the time or what the circumstances were. And then the other person's case, they said, oh, when we did it live, I did it so much better, but that's the take they used. And I'm just curious, is there anything that I showed that you're like, oh God?
No, actually, you picked pretty good ones, so thank you for that. That Man I Love clip was a very old clip. That was probably, over 10 years ago now. So, yeah, that was a bit of a flashback. I thought, geez, where did that come from? Where'd you find that one?
Okay, yeah, no, I tried. I tried to dig deep a bit.
That was nostalgia for me, that one.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that I didn't, pick something that was like triggering. You're like, oh.
Not at all. Look, the Was It At Last that you put up? That was a recording done here in Adelaide at the university, actually. And I just remember that day really not being happy with that sound of that microphone. And I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just do it. So we smashed it out in one take and we did it. But yeah, if there would be anything that would have changed, it would probably be the tonality of that recording. But in saying that, you know what, like as we kind of discussed prior, just jumping on, you live and you learn, don't you? And that's how you learn how to get better. And yeah,
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's Tanya and I were talking pre-show just about how I started doing these live streams back almost 6 years ago, and how mortified I am by what those look like now and everything else. And yeah, sometimes you can't quite get things the way they are, and you just have to make the most of the situation. And like you said, you learn from it. And so next time, if we're going to record another song, hey, let's have a different type of microphone or a different type of setting, even, and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And like I mentioned to you before, I'm not very savvy with the technology. So even when I don't like something, I don't feel like I have very good language to explain what I'm wanting either. So maybe that's something I need to work on.
I laugh kind of extra with that because the first band I was ever in, my music background, it was in high school, and our singer, he was just a friend of ours, and he joined last because we were just like jamming on some cover tunes back in the 80s, and he was like, "Hey man, you guys need a singer." So and we started working on these original things that he had, but he doesn't have a music background. So kind of like what you just mentioned about the tech part, he couldn't verbalize to us like what he had in his head. No, it's more like this, da 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 da, and we're like this on the guitar. When no, like,
yeah, I think when you don't have the language to explain what you're talking about in a professional setting, it can be quite frustrating, can't it?
Yeah, because we were all the three of us were kind of looking at each other like, who invited him? He was still our friend, but yeah, that was just, I think about that. So strange. I mean, that was over 40 years ago, and I can still see his face like, no, you're not getting it right. And I wasn't even the guitar player. I was the bass player. So our poor guitarist was trying to figure this out. And we would just get exasperated and just start working out something else.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Go over to the corner and see if you can figure something out. There's a piano over there. He'd be like doing the one finger thing on it.
Oh, that's so funny.
But like I mentioned to you before, that your voice is it's got so much nuance to it, and so many different types of styles I can see you singing and have found you singing. So clearly I haven't had a chance to hear you live, but that would be a welcome opportunity. How do you, like, here in 2026, how do you view your voice? Because artists are the worst critics in the world about their own thing, but how do you feel about your voice now in 2026 and what you've accomplished?
Oh, wow, that's a big question. Just jump right in there. I think, look, I feel like my voice has grown quite a lot. So, I'm in my early 40s now. So it's been 20 years of singing. And yeah, I think being a vocal coach as well, you're kind of forced to demonstrate things all the time when you're teaching. So that, as a singer, has forced me to then become more, flexible in terms of what I can do with my voice, because in a sense, how am I supposed to teach somebody else how to do that if I can't demonstrate how to do it efficiently? So that's kind of how I started building my skill set. Really wasn't as much at live gigs. It was actually in the studio here doing my teaching work. So I do think that my voice is a lot more flexible now, and a lot more, kind of interchangeable between styles. However, everyone has their strengths, and sometimes I think that I might be able to sing something and then listen and record myself and go, actually, that's probably not for you. Maybe give that to somebody else, or maybe find your own way of doing it and your own flair. So you can bring a bit of, Tanya into it. So yeah, I think that, versatility is something I really wanted to be able to offer as a vocalist, especially because I really do enjoy backing vocal singing. So that's something that I really like. And you have to be quite versatile in terms of range and styles and that type of thing. So yeah, that's kind of where I would view my voice right now. Probably a bit more matured, a little bit more, variety within it. But in saying that, being in my 40s, I'm now starting to experience a little bit of changes in my body, and that also is quite reflective on voice changes as well. So that's something that I'm now dealing with as well.
Okay, well, you mentioned having been singing for 20 years. So does that mean you started late teens then with your singing?
Yes, that's right. So I actually started singing in high school. So I was 16 when I started singing. I started off in kind of the music world just by playing piano, and I did a bit of dance when I was younger, and I gave that up in the high school years to do singing in year 11 and 12. I thought, why do I want to do another, academic subject when I can do music? So that's where I switched over to singing and started taking lessons. I had a classical teacher as my very first teacher. And she said, oh, you would be so great at classical singing because, I've got the soprano range. And we did a little bit of classical / folk repertoire. But I was like, you know what? I just want to sing Mariah Carey. I like R&B. I like soul. And I don't have like a heavy sounding soul voice, but I do really love that kind of pop R&B soul genre. So in year 12, I started to delve into that with her a little bit more, which I found that's what I really enjoyed. So yeah, it's been a bit of a late start, especially nowadays. So many kids start from such a young age with all of this training, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I didn't really have that luxury as much growing up, but yeah, it's forced me to kind of really learn things quickly. And yeah, I guess, having a bit more of a mature outlook on it could be a good thing as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just going to say that with yourself being a vocal coach now, and like you mentioned that your first voice teacher was classically trying to train you into that genre. Was she open to you, like when you said, you know what, I don't really want to sing this, I want to sing Mariah Carey, I want to sing soul and R&B? Was she kind of okay with it, or she kind of like pushed back on you at all?
Oh, look, she was very classical in her ways. So her compromise was doing some folk tunes which weren't so classical, but I did manage to sneak a few Mariah Carey songs in there. And I remember with my friend from high school, we did a duet of When You Believe. So that was like my dream come true. A bit of Mariah, a bit of Whitney, a bit of vocal harmony. So yeah, I got my way mostly.
Okay, because I could totally relate to what you were talking about with the different aspects of when you started and how you've been teaching for all these years too, and what you've been leading, what you had to learn for yourself to be able to teach it efficiently to your students. I had a guitar club when I was a public school teacher on Thursdays after school, so that's when it became like, oh gosh, I'd taken lessons from 2 different guitar instructors, and their styles were vastly different. And then so for myself, I'm like, okay, so what am I going to pull from these 2 so that when I'm teaching to these guys, that I feel like I kind of got the best of the best. And it was still a struggle. Someone would be coming in, and I've got small hands, so I don't have really good like fretting chords and things. If I was going to be, I'm not a piano player, but if I was, it's a little bit more of a struggle for me. And so I might have some student coming and say, how do you fret a chord this way? And I'm looking at their hands, and they got the piano fingers that are super long and everything. So I'm like, well, this should be fairly easy for you because this is how it is for me. And then I had to kind of really rethink things. I'm like, why is this so hard for me to do this? I should be able to like bang this out instantly. And that was really a really good, learning time for myself about like introspectively looking back at how, why do you have some of these, habits that you do? And some of them weren't good. And so I don't want to teach this to you. So, you know what, don't be me here in this. And I would explain why, what happened to me, if it's like a picking thing or again, intonation stuff with I'm doing leads. And boy, I learned so much during that time, working with students. And I'm curious too that, like you said, that you, there's the compromise with the folk music and then still working in the Mariah Carey in your situation. My first guitar teacher was very close-minded. He only liked like the Beatles and a couple other artists, which are great, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I'm into like heavy metal and I'm into this other kind of like shredding stuff. And he didn't have really much interest in any of that stuff. And then my second guitar teacher was completely a 180, totally open-minded, loved classical, jazz, rock, just a little bit of everything, had toured around America. So I learned much more from the second guy than the first one. So as a vocal coach, are you kind of aware of those? Are you kind of aware of those things for yourself when you're working with, like, say, a brand new student who's new to everything when it comes to voice?
100%. Like, I am a big advocate for not forcing people to do things that they don't want to do. I don't think it's encouraging. I don't think it's inspiring. Even if they might come in, and my bias is that this person really suits this style of music, I would never force that upon a singer or a client, because it's just not motivating. And I think motivation comes from positivity. So if you're not feeling positive about what you're learning, then I don't think that's very sustainable. So yeah, but the ironic thing is that when I think about my teacher and her perspective, looking at my voice now, as someone older, I probably would enjoy trying a little bit of classical now. So maybe I should have listened to her. But in saying that, it's never too late, and you're always able to improve and become more versatile and learn more styles. So start in the place where you love it. That's what I think, and then grow from there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's I mentioned this during one of my interviews, I think within the last week, about how sometimes students were bringing a song for me during that guitar club time, and I'm like, maybe I don't really like that artist, but I kept a poker face. I was like, okay, cool, let me check this out and all this kind of stuff. And maybe it's like, this is like the goofiest song in the world, but to them, it means a lot. That's why they brought it in. So I don't want to put my projection onto them about what I think about this music. When I was their age, because I was working with middle school kids, so this is like 12 to 14, 12 to 15 or so. If someone had come to me when I was 15 and said, oh, Mark, this Metallica song, this is terrible, why do you want to learn this? I would have got real defensive, and I'd be like, no, you suck, and all this kind of stuff back at the teacher. And exactly. Like you just said, yeah, nobody wins in that situation. So
correct. Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important to encourage students to follow their passion. So whatever that is, it's also having the emotional intelligence to check in with yourself as a coach and not have those personal bias. That's something that we have to do all the time, because I might like a certain sound. So what you tend to do is, I think as someone that's a younger, more inexperienced coach, is you will lead people to, one, a sound you can do because you can demonstrate it, and two, sounds that you like. Whereas I often ask lots of all the students, what do you want to sound like? What is this sound that you're going for? And how do we get that for you? Not, I think you should sound like this, unless, of course, they ask for my opinion. But really, it's got to be student-led. It's not about me. It's about what they need and how I can help bring them out when they're here in the studio. So
that sounds like a really healthy attitude. I love your attitude, and I agree with it. So that's I think your students are really fortunate. That's the way that you approach things. And just out of sheer curiosity, if you did have somebody that came to you tomorrow, has no music background, has nothing, they just love to sing in the shower, how do you start with them on that first lesson? Like, what kind of things do you go over? Is it just a lot of discussing back and forth before you actually give them any kind of exercise? Or what do you kind of tend to do for that first timer?
Yeah, well, with the first timer students, I'm really in kind of diagnostic mode. So I go into this whole problem solving mode, which I kind of love sitting in that space. It's really where I feel like I thrive the most. So yeah, they come in, we'll have a chat for a good 20 minutes or so. I'd love to get to know lots about them. So voice and singing and performing is so multifaceted. So there's just so many components. It's not just vocal technique. It's your psychological components, history, if they've had any other teachers. I mean, maybe they've had really positive experiences, and I would love to know about that. What were the experiences that didn't work for you? If they've never sung before, I guess looking at their goals and what brought them here, because that's a really huge step for somebody to come in when they've never sung before, and like that's very vulnerable. So being able to work with that person and make them feel regulated in the studio is really important to me as well. So then after a good 20 minutes, I kind of feel like I've got a bit of a vibe of the person. And, even just about their state. Are they anxious? Are they feeling, most of the time they are. And then we'll just go through some really basic vocal exercises. I often won't even start by taking them on the piano. We'll just do some sirens and little pitch glides so I can get a feel for their voice. Then, because once we just stand up and move over to the piano, that's when things get real for them. So that's, probably only about 15 minutes out of the 45 minutes session. Yeah. So I try to make it really warm and inviting for them so they're not feeling too anxious. It's very weird singing in front of somebody in a one-to-one setting. And even as an experienced singer, if I go have some vocal coaching to get some feedback on things, which I try to do every now and then because I feel like it's really important, I often, once I'm standing in front of that piano, start to get that feeling of nervousness again. And I think, you know what, this is really good that I'm doing this because I'm putting myself back into my client's shoes to remind myself what it feels like to be them, because I've been doing this for such a long time, and you're on autopilot, but it's really important that you put yourself in their shoes just every now and then. So that's
a really, really good point about and So what I didn't tell you pre-show was that, so my main instrument is guitar, and I was playing in a little duo around town like 10 years ago. But singing in front of somebody, no. It was like that was mortifying to me. I did not want to do it. You couldn't pay me enough money in the world to do it. But then it got to a point where I was talking to a different friend of mine, and she was interested in taking voice lessons. So I'm like, maybe I should, go along with her, and we can kind of start together and that kind of thing. But I still remember being in that studio that very first day, and our voice teacher was really chill and very relaxed. And it sounds very similar to how you approach things, wanted to kind of get to know us as people and everything. But then when she wanted to hear my voice, I'm just like, God, is there like something like a beer here or something I can drink before I start?
I haven't tried alcohol in my sessions yet.
I was very, very nervous. And even like the subsequent lessons, I got a little bit better, but I was still nervous when it's like, okay, Mark, this is what you were supposed to work on for the last week. Hit me with it. And I'm like,
it is a lot. It's so vulnerable, isn't it?
It is. It's like I've told people, I could play guitar in front of 1,000 people and not care, but then you put me in front of a microphone and have to open my mouth. That's a whole other thing. And I eventually did get to a point where I was singing lead a little bit in my little duo, and when we were playing stuff, so I felt good about that. That's an accomplishment for me, because I'm like, I didn't think I'd ever get to this point. I didn't even want to do backgrounds, let alone sing a lead on anything.
Yeah.
But what you're describing, that what your students go through, and then like you said, for yourself, if you're going to try to get some feedback from a vocal coach or a different style or something that you're trying to do, that you go there and like, oh man, it puts you back 20 years again, and here you are trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah, it's really important. I love teaching. It's great. It keeps you real. It keeps you removed from yourself in a sense. So you're always checking in with yourself. To make sure that other person's okay. So it's about servicing somebody else. I think the performing arts world, as much as I absolutely love it, and there's nothing better than having that thrill of singing live on stage, especially with the awesome live band. But there's just that, I think, it can be easy to get caught up in yourself and become egotistical in that world. So I like to have a bit of both worlds, to have a little check-in as well, to make sure that, hang on a second, I'm still learning. And every time somebody asks me a question in the studio, there's a lot of times where I don't know the answer and I have to go and find that. And I love that. I love learning. And I just think it's really important to have a bit of both, whether that's, could be anything that's giving back to somebody else. So
we sound very similar in that sense. That's probably going back to my teaching background. I've worked at a lot of community-based agencies for my day jobs. I know that you just got your credentials as a speech pathologist, and to me, if I learn something new, that's a good day to me. And like you said, sometimes my students will ask you questions, and I'm like, you know what? And I have to be honest with them. I don't really know the answer to that. Let me kind of figure this out, and I'll get back to you. Thank you for that question. I can also give you this other piece that for about 10 years I was working with models as a photographer. So my one friend on the anniversary of me working with her for photo shoots, she said, Mark, I think what I want to do today is I don't want to be the model. I want to be the photographer. And I'm like, so do you have a friend that's going to model? And she said, yeah, you.
It was close, was it?
Yeah.
She didn't throw you right in the deep end.
Yeah, I was like, and especially, I'm not about like this now, but back then I did not want my picture taken, selfies, any of that kind of stuff. I didn't want it taken, but she kept persisting, and I'm like, okay, I'll turn the gear over to you. I'll kind of show you how to do some basic things, because I'm not going to let you shoot this on auto. We got to use manual and all these things. And then I will be the model. And we were down at the beach, I think by the ocean. And so I was literally doing all the model poses. I'm in the sand, I'm in the water, I'm on the stuff. And it was in September over here, so it's almost fall, so the water's kind of getting cold, and I learned a heck of a lot of what the models go through by doing that. So from all the shoots forward, I'm like, hey, Mark, if you're going to ask them to do this and it's 32 degrees out, and you better be super quick with this, because this is torture to them. They're trying to put on a face and hit their poses and all that, but don't be a jerk about this. Because in the past I wouldn't be a jerk, but I would maybe kind of take a little bit longer time. Hey, let's do that again. Let's do that again. And like after that experience, I'm like, no, we're good. Do it once, move on to the next thing. Because that was uncomfortable. I had sand in places I didn't want sand.
Well, how fantastic for them, though, to be able to have somebody that relates to that. You know, that's absolutely great. I love that. And you've got that story that you can always tell now. So,
yeah, that's true. I did get something good out of it, aside from also learning about, it kind of reminds me of like if someone's in another position, try to put yourself in their shoes, because you really don't know what someone's ever going through at any given time. They might look okay or sound or feel okay, but you never know. And you don't want to ever assume that, oh no, they're fine. You don't know, they might be barely hanging on right now. But they're still going to be professional. They're still going to get up there and get on that stage, or they're going to still, get behind the camera in my case and do the photo shoot like they're supposed to. But that's just, a little kindness goes a long way. And I think this has been kind of a recurring theme the last probably 4 live streams I've done. It's so interesting how the guests are talking about that. When it comes to art, they don't want to do it. They have to do it. And so it's a part of who they are. It's like, being able to breathe and say, hey, don't breathe for the next day. It's impossible. They have to do it. And do you kind of feel the same way?
I do. Yeah, I think when I don't have my own singing, I think it's really important to have that balance, because then I would probably start getting resentful because all you're doing is giving and you're not giving back to yourself. So you really need that balance. I just think that with artists, I think what we do is we get this sense of regulation for our nervous system through performing. We become addicted to it in a sense, and we need it to regulate and to feel good about ourselves, and not in an egotistical way, but in a nervous system sense is kind of how I think about it. I do think it's really important. Also, from just, I know we've talked a lot about the coaching, but back to the coaching, it's important to be able to do something to then be able to teach it as well. So if I'm not actively performing, I feel like I would lose those skills in terms of being able to teach that to somebody else too. But I definitely need it for myself. And I think that's the biggest struggle, and why I'm always feeling like I'm too busy, because I've got these 2 worlds that I really enjoy, and it's finding the time to manage both at the same time, and when they both need quite a lot of attention to detail and energy. So that's something I still struggle with, and I don't know if it will ever get better, but that's okay. I'm still hanging on.
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head that every artist is trying to find that balance in their lives. They have personal things, and it could be professional things. They've got coaching, they've got performances, they've got rehearsals, they've got social media things to post about, to promote things. Yes. It's really never ending, and if you let things go, you will hit, at least in my case, you will hit a wall at some point, because you can't do all of it at this level. At some point, you got to kind of drop it down, take a breath, kind of recharge those batteries, whatever it takes for you to kind of recenter yourself. Otherwise, you'll just kind of go like this over here.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I hit that wall once. I just told this story recently, but quickly that. In 2019, around the holidays, I'm like, hey, I want to do like all the holiday shows I can possibly cover, because I really like to kind of put me in the holiday spirit. So I'm going to hit as many as I can. And then once I finish that right before Christmas, I'm like, I think I did too much. I don't really feel like, I don't want to see another, Christmas tree or song or any of this stuff. But
I feel you.
What was so bad about it was the timing, that I thought, well, maybe I'll just kind of take a break until spring of 2020. Well, we all know what happened in March of 2020. So in a weird way, I got my wish that I was kind of thinking about, I think I'll take a break for a while. I was like, oh, we're going to give you a break whether you want it or not.
Yeah, exactly. You're forced into it.
Yeah.
In January, that's what I was doing. I was trying to just, regulate myself again from last year. So yeah, it was a big one. And it's always nice to have a break. I think it's really important for us. Our mental health as well, as well as our physical bodies. But
and I totally understand that, because I've been there myself. So when I talk to somebody and it's just like either have bad timing or something, it's just not the right time. Sometimes it's like, hey, can you come back? Like I just had someone wants to do something in early spring. So that's perfectly fine. I'll kind of ping you in the middle of March and kind of see where we're at, because I realize just for myself, I get stretched too thin too, or just sometimes it's not a priority. It's like, no, I would love to come see your show, but I've got 5 others that I'm doing, so it's nothing personal. Please tell me when the next show is. I'll try to get out there. And most people understand that because they're in the same spot that I'm in. And sometimes sometimes people don't, but I can't control that. So do what you do. And as we're kind of working through this, again, as I mentioned in my intro, most people internationally know you from your work with Hindley Street Country Club. And it was so interesting when I was going through things on YouTube that I didn't realize, like, maybe one of the first videos that you were a part of was like over 9 months ago that it dropped on their channel. I'm like, I kept thinking it was like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And I went, wait a minute. I kept going through stuff. I'm like, so for folks out there, how did you get involved with the recording, the videos and the tracks, that kind of stuff with them?
Yeah, well, I was actually contacted by Kat. So I've known Kat for quite a long time. We actually studied music together at a tertiary level a while ago now, so probably about 15 years ago. And look, just hearing her sing for the first time, even as someone so young, I thought, geez, what a fantastic singer with such potential and just technical mastery at that age. She's just phenomenal. So yeah, we've known each other for a long time, and back in the day I also started a little wedding vocal ensemble, and Kat was a part of that, so we did a lot of gigs together. So she contacted me and just said, look, we're looking for some BVs for these tracks, are you interested in just coming along? And I think at that evening I did 3 tracks for them. I think it was in April last year. I was also incredibly busy at the time. I remember being on my placement at uni. I was working for 9 weeks at the hospital here, and it was just such a different vibe going from the stroke ward into the studio. So having this mindset change, but I really needed it at the time for myself and for my mental health. So it just came at a perfect time for me. And yeah, once I recorded those tracks, I just thought, this is such a great process. Like, I really enjoyed the process of, in a sense, being put a little bit under pressure of, you've got these 3 songs, you've got 2 weeks to learn them, go, and then when we get in, we don't really know what we're going to do, but we'll make it work. And I really enjoy that. So yeah, it's been good, and it's been good to reconnect with Kat again, and having that opportunity to sing the duet Best Part with her was just so lovely, and yeah, a bit nostalgic for the both of us. So yeah, that was a really lovely opportunity, and it's been a good little ride so far. I've been enjoying it.
Well, that's cool. That's when you're talking about when you were doing the wedding gigs and Kat was a part of that. Is there video anywhere of that lying around?
None that I would probably want to show anyone. It was probably a little bit, what's the word, loose at the time. But look, we enjoyed it. We did lots of pop songs. There was 5 of us girls. So we had 5 singers, and one of the girls played piano and ukulele. So it was a very stripped back acoustic kind of vibe. And we did so many weddings. I don't know how many we did. And yeah, won awards for it and things like that. It was a great time. But then I had my child, and dealing with the attention to detail that you have to deal with weddings, I thought, you know what, my brain needs a break from this now. So then I ended up, saying, let's have a bit of a break, and if I can't do it at that level that I want to do it at, I'm not going to do it at all. So that's kind of where that ended up. But we were doing it for a while. It was probably a good 7 years, I think. But Kat was in and out because obviously she had other commitments and things like that. So, but yeah, it was really good, and I love harmony singing. So that just gave me a great opportunity to sing. I love that, being able to create something with different voices and timbres, and yeah, it's just one of my favorite things to do.
That's so awesome that what you just said. I know Kat told me the same thing about she loves BVs. She's like, Mark, if I could do BVs all day for Celine Dion or Lady Gaga, I would be in heaven. I mean, that's what I would want to do.
I agree with her for that one. Yes, that would be my ultimate dream. Love it.
Yeah, and I think from a fan standpoint, when we see people who are singing lead parts, we think, oh, that's what they always wanted to do. And it's like, oh, they have nothing against doing lead, but man, they love the BVs over here and how that sounds and what they can do to it. And it kind of really, it kind of rocks their world, and you kind of forget about that aspect if you're not a vocalist or, someone who performs. Yes. Going, oh yeah, don't you want the spotlight on you all the time? Not necessarily.
Yeah, it provides you with a low pressure situation, in a sense, where you can you have to tune in with everything around you, what's going on with the band and the lead singer, and you're really actively listening. So it really forces you to be present, which I really enjoy. Whereas, you know, obviously you get that with lead as well, but there's a lot more, especially, you know, for me and my personality, kind of a bit more anxiety about the performance side of it. And, you know, I just like the fact that you're creating something and you're supporting this person at the front and making them feel secure in their performance, because they know they feel that, you know, that backing is really strong. And it's really important as a singer to have that strong backing. Like, I think it's so underestimated. Without it, you actually feel quite naked. And, you know, that Best Part video was a perfect example of like stripped back, you know, you feel very vulnerable. So yeah, I just like knowing that I can support somebody else with that work. So, and I love the active listening side of it. So, you know, it probably comes again from my coaching, going, oh, that's kind of where they're going. That's what they're doing. And having that ability to be instinctive on that is probably something that I've picked up just from listening to voices for 20 years in my studio. But I enjoy being able to use that skill in a different way. So.
Oh, thank you for explaining it that way, because that's something I think even for myself, I didn't quite think about how that support piece and how you can, like in your case, get into the nuance of what the lead vocal is doing. So, okay, they're going to go here, here, and here. So this is what I can do to really support that vocal approach that they're doing. It kind of reminds me, like if you have a team with a wardrobe stylist and makeup and everything, like what I used to do with models, that these are the strengths of this model. We already know we worked with her or him or what have you. So we need to be doing these things to help support them. We're not singing, obviously, but we're doing our skill set to kind of tailor it to them so that they feel like there's all this, you know, support around them so they can do their best work.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really important. And I think, you know, coming from somebody that, you know, has or had a little bit of that performance anxiety, I know how important it is when you're that front person to feel secure with the band and with the backing vocalists. And yeah, it does make a big difference, because then you can just go, you know what, they are 100% on it. They know what they're doing. I don't have to think about anything, but I feel supported and I can just sing. So yeah, if I can help anyone doing that, you know, then my work is done. I'm happy.
Well, and it's also awesome, like you said, that you got a chance to catch up with Kat when you got involved with these. And do you have, off the top of your head, do you remember what those first 3 songs were that you recorded?
Yes, it was Ring My Bell,
okay.
Which I thought was hilarious. I'm like, I'm not really doing too much. So, so hopefully they think this is okay. Man in the Mirror and Edge of 17 were the 3 songs in that session, yes.
Okay, all right. And of the ones that you recorded all together from beginning to present, is there one that you particularly got excited about when you found out you were doing it?
I think Best Part, definitely, because I've always loved that song. So when Con sent that to me, I was definitely down for recording that one. I love the harmonies. It's R&B, but not the heavy R&B. It's that light, beautiful, pretty R&B, which I enjoy. But I think I wasn't initially too excited about this song, but then once it got, like, well, when we were in the studio, I really enjoyed it, which was Automatic by the Pointer Sisters. That was so much fun. And hearing the band come together and our 3 voices blending, I really enjoyed recording that one. When I was learning it, Con sent it to me and I said to myself, because he said it's you, Danny, and Kat on the track. And I'm listening to this lead vocal thinking, is he expecting me to sing down there? Like, da, 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 da. I'm like, I don't think I can get down there. And I'm like, I better message him because I don't know if I can sing this low. And he goes, no, it's Danny singing the lead. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting choice. And then when I heard it, I thought, how fantastic. What a great insight to be able to, you know, predict that how that was going to sound. I really enjoyed that one. Yeah, it was good fun.
That's cool. That's actually one of the clips that I pulled that I didn't put into the intro when I was trying to do the thing. So I'm like, when I was listening to that one and a bunch of other ones that you're on, I'm like, oh, that one's really interesting how that one came together, because it does work. It absolutely works.
Yeah. I know, but I was panicking because I was like, oh my God, is he expecting me to sing this slow? Because I can't get down there. I'm singing it in the car and I'm like, surely this is not my part. I better message him to check. Lucky I did. Oh, can you imagine? I rock up and they'll start going, no, 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 no. It's not even my bit. Jeez. Always good to check in. That's some advice.
Also of that group of songs so far, have you had one that you like, or maybe it's been more than one that you like, you didn't know this song at all, if you didn't recognize the title or the artist or anything?
Yes, there was one that hasn't come out yet though, so I probably can't say that. That I didn't know the track at all. And on the day of the recording, they were recording it, and I wasn't meant to be in this song. And so I was out with Belle having, spritzes or drinking because we had already recorded our songs. And we're having a lovely time having a chat. And then Con's like, I think I need some more BVs on this. Can you come and just chuck some in? I was like, I don't know this song at all. So I literally was just like listening to it, learning my line, getting in there, recording. So that'll be a fun one. I can reveal when it gets released which one it is. But yes, there's been a few where I haven't known them at all. I'm trying to think of some other ones that I didn't know. Again, a couple that haven't actually been put out yet, but most of the tunes, even if I haven't sung them before, at least I've heard them. So especially if I'm only doing BVs, it's just a matter of knowing the hooks, isn't it, for a lot of it. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But yeah, lots of them, I'm in my 40s. I listen to, especially the 80s stuff. I know that probably a little bit better. But yeah, it's great. I love learning new songs. It's so much fun.
Okay, yeah. I just know, I think everyone that I interviewed from that group that's starting to work with them, at some point there is at least one or a couple songs they're like, they get the list or something from Con, and they're like, I don't know that one. Like, I don't know what that is. And they go listen to the original or something, like, oh, okay, this is actually kind of familiar. And sometimes they're like, I still don't know what that song is, but I got to learn my part. Yeah,
I didn't know Automatic, now that you say that. When you first sent that to me, I didn't actually know that tune. I knew a few other Pointer Sisters ones, but so that was one I actually didn't know, and that's why when I heard the low part, I was panicking.
Oh man, that's well. Again, it's, your voice has been such an addition to those tracks and hearing those things. I'm sure Peter, when he's mixing things, he's like, oh wow, now I've got another voice to kind of work with and that kind of thing. And it also is kind of a good segue that I believe, and I know Bella told me this during her interview, but it must be getting close to maybe next month when, aren't you and her, you have a new project coming out, right?
Yeah, we do. It's a little bit of a disco dance anthems project, so probably a bit more for the ladies. It's called Upside Down the Band. So we've got the dance anthems from the 70s, 80s and 90s. We've got an 8-piece band, so I'm really looking forward to the show. It started off, in my head as something not so big, but then of course I'm like, nah, let's add this. Let's add a horn section. Let's add a percussionist. Actually, let's add another backing vocalist, even though there's already 2 of us. It just, every time I hear a song, I'm like, actually, it needs that in there. Let's add something else. It's our launch. Why not? Let's go all out. It's on the 20th of March, which is a Friday night here in Adelaide at the Arca Bar, which is a lovely live music venue and very suited to this demographic as well. It's got a nice little disco ball and a bit of a vibe. So yeah, look forward to it. It should be a bit of fun. We've started rehearsals now and we've got one coming up this coming Monday as well. So yeah, look forward to it.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun, and this is going to kind of beg the question, how are you figuring out your set list?
Oh, okay. So my set list is kind of a lot of the songs where I do not want it to be the generic cover band rep, because why would I want to start my own project when I can just go get other gigs and not do work? If I'm going to sing that stuff, it's like, well, I can do that anywhere and not have to do the background work. So I wanted it to be like those songs where you just haven't heard it for ages and no one really plays them live, because they do take a bit more work to play live, and maybe a few more instruments are needed and things like that. So people tend to stay away from them. So yeah, the set list there's some common tunes, but instead of ABBA Dancing Queen, we'll do ABBA Voulez-Vous. So, changing it up a little bit. So they're the songs that you just go, oh, I love that song and I forgot about it, and you just gets you boogieing on the dance floor. That was my reasoning behind my choices of the sets.
Okay, no, that makes really, really good sense. That, like you said, if we're just going to do kind of the standard list that everyone does, I'll just go join one of those projects and let them, get it all together, and then I'll just come in and sing.
Exactly. Why would I stress myself out for no reason?
Yeah, It's no different than when my duo was going around town. That we would just, my singer and I would just kind of look at each other. It's like, what do we want to do today? What do we want to work on? It's like, and she would pull, and she was like maybe almost 20 years younger than me. And she would pull out these songs from the 80s. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, did your parents play that song? No. And she found it from through some other way, but she'd pull some kind of not the popular song, but people knew the artist. So I'm like, this is great because it's such a balance from the hits to this stuff. People will still know it, but they just haven't thought about it. And she was really, really good at that kind of thing. So that's probably why we worked so well together. And yeah, I think it is kind of nice because if you're there and if you go to live music, period, it's like, okay, I'm going to hear these songs, but I don't want to hear that, all 20 songs like that. I want to hear something else. That's why you have the freedom to do that. Just like if you see a tribute band, if it's a Metallica tribute band, do a deep cut, do something that normally the band itself doesn't do, because that's why you have that freedom.
Exactly. And I think as well, just on a personal, completely selfish note, like singing, be able to just to sing some different things for myself, I might want to sing How Will I Know by Whitney instead of I Want to Dance with Somebody, because I've been singing the other songs for such a long time. It's just nice to do something different, and maybe nice for the audience just to hear something different once in a while, So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Very cool. It's also nice. So it sounds like this is a public event, so people can go to it. It's not like a corporate event or something. Correct.
It's a public event. So it's part of the Adelaide Fringe. Mark, we should get you down here for the Adelaide Fringe one year.
Okay.
You would be done as with like interviewing all the people here. So it's the biggest arts festival, I think, in the world. Oh no, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. And it's it runs basically from the middle of February to the middle of March, so for 4 weeks, and it's quite big. So we have artists from interstate come down and do shows. So we've got lots and lots of different venues. So it's part of that festival. And yeah, you can get tickets on the Adelaide Fringe website. There's a lot of shows. So it's very hard to decide what to go to. It's where Adelaide kind of comes alive for the year. It's lovely. It's a good atmosphere.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that does sound like it's up my alley because it has so many different artistic things going on all in one place for a number of weeks. I'm Eclectic Arts for a reason.
We can come down. We'll get you down next year.
Sounds good. Okay, I've never been there. My cousin studied music I think he was in Sydney. He was there for a year. And he's back here in the States and all that. But I remember he told me one day, yeah, I'm going to go live in Sydney, Australia for a year. He was part of some program. I'm like, you're what? What are you doing? But he was really serious about it for a while. Unfortunately, he's doing some other thing now. But at one point, he was very talented.
How did he find culture change?
That's a good question. He's a very, how do I describe my cousin? He's kind of flighty, I guess is a good way to put it. And he kind of goes along with the punches very, very well. So I think that change probably wasn't too big compared to maybe like to me, because I'm very I like to know what's this and what's coming up. And if there's change, it kind of rattles my cage a bit. I would probably have a tougher time than he did. I'd have to actually ask him next time I see him about, what was that experience like for you? Because I've kind of forgotten, when you were living in Sydney and doing your thing.
I feel like we're quite relaxed here as a culture, maybe compared to some other countries. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but.
Yeah. And I think, again, for him, it probably wasn't that big of a leap because he is a pretty laid back kind of person, very artistic, even in addition to music with painting and that kind of thing. So I think he could be like, yeah, I'll just kind of take it all in, take it as it comes. And I would be kind of like, what's that? What are we doing? And then be like, just making more work for myself than I really need to.
You like the predictability.
I do. I mean, clearly I've had to learn, sometimes, Mark, you just have to go with it. I mean, you don't have that option. So I'm like, okay, I can deal with that too. But if I have a preference between, no prep versus prep, I'm picking prep every single time because especially even like this interview that I'm doing with you, I want to have a chance to hopefully do some research and do some homework so that I'm not embarrassing myself and also wasting your time. I don't want to do that.
That would never happen.
Well, I appreciate that because other times, like when I do in-person ones, especially like with bands, maybe it's supposed to be with the singer and then you get there, singer's sick. So now you have the guitarist. Typically, that's not a problem because they're all part of the same band. But I had one where, boy, that singer had put out an article with Psychology Today, of all things, the magazine, and had some really, really great talking points. So like half my questions were specifically about that article. And then I found out I wasn't going to get her. The day I was actually at the club, and it's like, oh yeah, she's sick, or her voice is whatever, so you're gonna get this guitarist. And he had a name that I couldn't even pronounce. It was like an Eastern European. So I'm like, again, I'm always trying to be as respectful as I can with my guests, and I'm like, if I can't even pronounce his name, this is a really bad start. And thankfully, a media friend of mine, he had to do the same thing, but he went before me. So when he came off the bus, I'm like, how do you pronounce this guy's name?
Well, look, I think that just shows a lot about your character, though, and, you know, wanting to do things well and with integrity. So that's a great thing.
Well, I appreciate it. That's kind of, again, I look at everything that I'm very, very grateful for every opportunity I get, and I never take it lightly. I don't care who you are or what you are, or what stature you're at. I try to treat everything exactly the same way, and because I just find it disrespectful if you don't do it that way. So, and I've seen people. I was, real short story, but I was the indirect recipient of a person before me at an actual club show who got kicked off the tour bus. They ended the interview and they said, "Get the F out of here." And so I'm the next one up. So I'm like, great. So I walk on there. It's very tense inside the tour bus and all this kind of thing. They don't know me from a hole in the wall. I'd never talked to them. And so I'm just getting my gear together really quickly, and I'm talking to the guest, and he's pretty standoffish because of what had happened. And luckily, it's just kind of through my natural process of how I do interviews, he softened up and he started to open up and talk, and we were joking around about things. So it was good by the end of it, but I was so mad at that previous person because, see, when you don't do your work the right way, or at least your intention isn't that way, look what it did to me and then the other people that were waiting. Now we had to deal with your mess too. So it's like, I'm always mindful of that. Like I mentioned, tomorrow when I go there, there'll be like 8 other media people. Don't make work for them. Don't screw things up. You know, maybe one of them will be like this, you know, jerk that was on that tour bus. I can't control that, but I can control how I do my business.
Yeah, exactly right. And at the end of the day, whatever industry we're in, we should all be working as a team. Yeah, that's just how it is. It shouldn't be competitive. It should be team-based, and yeah, that's how we all get the best out of our jobs and out of our experiences. So yeah, good on you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And Tanya, before we wrap this up, we mentioned speech pathology. I know that was something that was taking up a lot of your time to work and study and everything that you have to do. So if there's someone that's watching this right now that's not familiar with that field, what exactly is that?
Yep. So speech pathology works on communication. So people that need therapy for communication. So there's lots of different areas that speech pathologists work in. So we work with swallowing disorders. We work with speech sounds. So that's like a lot of younger children do speech sound stuff. There's so many areas. Fluency, so stuttering and cluttering. But my area that I'll be moving into is voice. So I got into this, just kind of happened organically, really. I had a lot of students coming in wanting to start singing lessons, and then I would have a listen and think, actually, might be something in terms of vocal health that's not really sitting with me. I feel like I'm not sure what's going on with your voice. Why don't you go get it checked? So we would, recommend a few ear, nose and throat specialists here in Adelaide to get voices checked. So the students would have their voices checked, and sometimes they would be diagnosed with certain things, and then they would have to go see a speech pathologist before returning to sessions. So I just thought, wouldn't it be fantastic to be able to be a part of that person's journey from the start to the finish? And I really, just like I said before, I love the kind of problem solving and diagnostic aspect of coaching, and I think that the speech pathology just really allows me to do that a little bit more as well. So yeah, voice is definitely my area that I'm keen on exploring more on. And look, I've been working in my private practice here for 4 weeks now, so it's very early days. I've had a few clients and a few assessments, which has been lovely. And yeah, I think I would really love to be able to support performing artists and singers with vocal health, especially with things like tours. I think that it's something that's a bit underrated. We are becoming a lot more aware of it now, especially with social media and things like that. But that's an area I'm definitely really interested in pursuing. So yeah, speech is quite broad. And when I started studying it, we were learning so many things that I thought, oh my God, am I ever going to use this? But once it all connects together and you can just see the possibilities of how you can help somebody communicate, it's really quite empowering, not only for myself, but for that person obviously as well. So it's a lovely thing to be able to add to what I do. And I'm just looking forward to going into it a little bit more, but I'm doing it very slowly. So integrating it very slowly.
Okay, that's wonderful that you're doing that work. And like you said, you get to be a part of that person's journey, that now you have the study, the educated piece to add to this as a speech pathologist. And in my own background, way back when, I'd worked with speech pathologists as a part of our MDT, our multidisciplinary teams, because being a special education teacher, sometimes you have speech requirements, occupational therapy, physical therapy, those types of things. So, and like you just said, there's all kinds of other areas that also covers. So there's a wide range of things when it comes to speech pathology.
Yeah, and for the pediatric side of it, the language side of it's huge as well. So in helping someone to be able to, improve their language skills is also really important for reading, literacy skills. It's all interconnected. So it is a big multidisciplinary, approach. And I really, as I mentioned just before, I like working, in a team. And I just find that, with healthcare, you're working together, and it's just, it's really lovely. I really have been enjoying it so far. So
that's all. Yeah, again, that's awesome. And before we sign off here, you've already mentioned about Upside Down Band. That you have your show coming up. What else do you have? What's also on the docket? Any other kind of performance or things that you want to let people know about?
I have a vocal trio as well that I perform in. So we've been going for a while now, for a long time actually. Kat used to be in that as well. Geez, I roped her in for everything back in the day. It's called Three Little Sisters. So we're a vintage vocal trio, and we do the Close Harmony Andrew Sisters tunes. And we are part of a show called Hooked on Swing. And last year we got to tour the show nationally, which I really enjoyed. And we got to perform at some beautiful venues. So my favourite ones were probably the Crown in Perth. That was really lovely because that theatre is quite new. And then to go the total opposite way, we had the State Theatre in Sydney, which was this really beautiful old ornate theatre. And that was so lovely. So, that show, we're getting to play here in August at the beautiful theatre called Her Majesty's Theatre. So that will be a lovely one to come along to. Probably got a few more as well, but I'm not allowed to talk about those ones yet. But but besides those, I'm just doing some, private gigs and corporate functions and that type of thing. But I'm looking forward to this launch. So that's kind of where my brain is at the moment in the next 4 weeks, is getting the launch happening. And once that's over, I can breathe for maybe a day or two before I have some other things that I need to do. So
breathe for a day or two.
Looking forward to that day.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, you definitely have a lot going on in your world, professionally on all these different levels, and also personally too, I'm sure. So finding that balance and still being able to, feel fulfilled with everything that you do. It sounds like you're on that right path and you're doing everything right. So it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you, Tania, and getting a chance to know what you do and your background. And hopefully everybody out there gets to see that all the other pieces behind you. I'm sure there's other pieces that we didn't get a chance to talk about, but at least it's not just this face on YouTube that you're watching and listening.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark. It's been really lovely to chat, and I think the work that you do is really lovely, bringing artist stories to the forefront, and the industry really appreciates people like yourself. So thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, thank you very much, and have a great. It's still morning over there for you. So.
It's just past 11 now, so I'm just starting to wake up. Probably need my second cup of coffee for the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's summer for you. It's winter and cold for me right now over here. We actually
I have a couple of coaching clients in the US, and they were talking about being snowed in. And meanwhile, over here, we were in a heat wave, absolutely sweating. So on camera, it just looked so bizarre. It was me sweating in our heat wave and them freezing and being stuck in their houses. It's funny how the world works, but how good is technology that we can just do this? It's just still blows my mind.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's been such an amazing opportunity to have the internet and have this kind of streaming availability to anywhere in the world. And as long as you can figure out time zones and not mess it up, which I tend to do.
At least I'm not in my PJs, my pajamas.
Again, have a great day over there. And Tanya, maybe down the road, I get a chance to talk to you again. I would love to have you come back and we can kind of dig into deeper, especially when you'll already have done your launch. You'll have done maybe some more things with the speech pathology and anything else that might be coming up. We can kind of revisit things and say, hey, remember what we talked about back in February? How's that going now?
Yeah, I would love to do that. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, count me
Great.
in.
I will be sure to ping you then.
Please do.
All right. Thank you, Tanya.
I'll be sure to keep updated with some of your other interviews as well. I do like to watch them. So, yeah.
I'll
follow you. And thank you so much again for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, Mark.
Very cool. Thank you, Tanya. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. See you later.